On May 22nd of 2019, MrBeast took to Twitter and asked what he should do when he hits the 20 millionth subscriber mark. For those of you who don't know, MrBeast is the YouTuber who frequently puts a lot of effort, a lot of money, or most frequently both, into simple tasks taken to an extreme. You've probably seen some of his videos in the trending bar. He's the guy who donated $50,000 to Ninja in a Fortnite stream, bought everything in an entire grocery store, and went through the same drive-thru 1,000 times. There's often a charitable component in the things that he does. Ninja was doing a charity livestream at the time, and he donated all the food that he bought in both the store and drive-thru videos. So when he was pondering what to do when he finally got his 20 millionth subscriber, he noted that Reddit really wants me to plant 20 million trees. Another tweeter suggested that he get notable engineering YouTubers Mark Rober and Destin from Smarter Everyday to, quote, figure out something to help plant them efficiently, before suggesting to, quote, get a bunch of YouTubers in on it. And a lot of notable YouTubers signaled their support, so MrBeast tweeted, I'm gonna hold all you boys to this, give me a few weeks, and there will be a YouTuber tree challenge, LOL. And then he did.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did.
On October 25th, he announced that he was teaming up with the Arbor Day Foundation to create Team Trees, a charity where a $1 donation plants one tree with a $20 million goal before January 2020. And although this charitable initiative has only been public for less than a month, it's been incredibly effective. Want to know how effective it is? I'm broke as
demonetized
with a baby on the way, and my wife and I still donated $20. As I said in my note, save the world to study the world. In a maybe more objective measure of influence, the organization has raised nearly $13 million at time of writing, meaning that it's nearly 65% of the way to its end goal. But climate change is a thorny political issue. Most of the world's governments are, at best, too languid and slow-moving to check off a victory at this scale. Shoot, even ignoring the fact that it's thorny, most issues and charitable causes can't rack out this kind of money this quickly. It's absolutely incredible. And because I'm incapable of just observing a thing in society and saying, oh, isn't that just nifty, and going about my day, we're going to talk about the social science of why this campaign in particular stands a good chance of actually reaching its goal. Before we get into why this is more effective than normal, we have to explain why the norm is the way it is. When it comes to charitable giving and action on climate change especially, we're dealing with what's known as a collective action problem. Originally explicated in Mancur Olson's 1965 book, The Logic of Collective Action, Public Goods and the Theory of Groups, collective action problems occur when the maintenance of a socially beneficial good is left purely in the hands of those who would benefit from it, paradoxically causing that resource to erode into nothing. The whole idea of collective action problems, their proposed solutions, are so important that they're going to get their own video, not too long from now. But what's important here is to appreciate that the reason this breakdown happens is because people have a rational incentive to be free riders, or to bank off the fact that other people are doing the things needed to maintain society, and rationalizing that it's acceptable to take, a little bit extra or abstain from doing one's fair share. Other people do the work and they want to ride on their coattails, all for one rather than one for all. The problem is when everyone has that mentality, nothing good gets done. A big reason why many people don't donate to charity, aside from the practical reason of not having enough money, is because they expect others to do it. Additionally, a lot of people are skeptical about charities and charitable giving. Many notable nonprofits offer their leaders substantial salaries and/or use most of their money on advertising rather than, say, research to solve the problem. This has led to a fair amount of skepticism in the mass public, and research by Deborah Webb and Lois Moore shows that people skeptical towards these kinds of campaigns will be less likely to view them favorably. So how is MrBeast overcoming these factors? Well, there are a few reasons. The first is the fact that the cause, climate change, dovetails with people's anxieties. And I'm not just talking about, the more general anxiety that a lot of millennials and Gen Zers grow up with. That sticky, suffocating shadow that yokes to your nerves and turns them into split ends. According to a 2019 survey fielded by the Kaiser Family Foundation and the Washington Post, nearly 70% of Americans between the ages of 17 and 29 report feeling that climate change makes them feel afraid, hopeless, and motivated. And over 50% of Americans between the ages of 30 and 49 feel the same. This, non-coincidentally, encapsulates a huge proportion of YouTube's user base. Climate change is one of those issues that can simultaneously seem pressing and utterly insurmountable. That's a really complex and effortful emotional state to maintain. People would prefer to do something that dispels these feelings. By providing them with an opportunity to donate, MrBeast is empowering people to reduce some of that anxiety by feeling like they're contributing to part of the solution. Even though, as he's first to acknowledge, planting lots of trees isn't going to magically eliminate climate change, it is unfortunately a far more complicated issue than that. But still, as he says after the video aired, doing something is better than doing nothing. And the fact that he's saying it actually goes a long way, and not just because of the handsome mug that, the request is attached to. Thanks to all the wildly over-the-top and implausible stunts that he's done in the past, MrBeast has established a certain degree of credibility when it comes to accomplishing feats at otherwise unimaginable scales. And because a lot of the money and effort is directed towards socially beneficial things like charities and food banks, he's established a reputation as someone who's willing to put large amounts of effort into doing good. In short, the message around Team Trees has high source credibility, and that can absolutely matter when it comes to charitable giving. Researchers Jasmina Alisic and Stacey Baxter investigated whether the perceived degree of fit between celebrity endorsers and the nonprofit that they're advocating for affects how much people were willing to give. They found that increased coherence, such as, an athlete helping with a sports-related charity or a comedian helping with a comedy-related charity, led to an increase in people's favorability towards the charity, as well as increased intention to donate money. The fact that this came from MrBeast, someone who's seen as a charitable individual specializing in accomplishing feats attached to mind-bogglingly large numbers, is probably managing a similar effect. But the fact that it isn't just MrBeast is also helping a great deal too. If you look back at the original tweet thread, you see loads of influencers agreeing to sign on and help, and many of them have. Additionally, many high-traffic sites, including YouTube itself, is filled with images and people endorsing the idea as good through their comments, and because, it is 2019, they're memes. But all these memes and people like Grande, who are basically living, breathing memes, are doing is illustrating social proof. Humans are inherently social animals. There is a strong drive for us to conform to the preferences of others when we're in the presence of others. When we see large numbers of people saying, hey, this is a good thing, we tend to take their word for it and act accordingly. It's like our subconscious is arguing, surely this many people can't possibly be wrong. The more people that donate and express approval for a donation, the more viable and desirable it appears. In a way, its success is self-reinforcing. Final thing, or at least the final thing that I'm going to talk about, is called, appropriately enough, the last mile, and it's a distance that MrBeast has managed to shrink. The term, the last mile, started in the context of telecommunications and transportation when discussing how to deliver the desired messages or items to its intended destination. The general lesson is that because there are robust systems and hubs to make transportation more effective during the longer middle parts, the very last mile, getting it to the final spot, is disproportionately more difficult. It's frequently estimated that the last mile comprises up to 28% of the total costs. This insight has been recently gaining some traction in the sciences of people and society. We have streamlined systems for registering voters, making them aware of the issues, and helping them know which candidates are more closely aligned with their preferences, but actually getting them to do the last step, getting out and filling in their preferences on a ballot, is very hard. Likewise, lots of people know that climate change is a pressing issue, and they know that places to donate their money and time exist, but they don't know how to take that final step of, finding a charity, navigating its donation section, and giving money or volunteering their time. And many charities shoot themselves in the foot by not having a really navigable site or having an easy way to donate. And the website that they've designed for this initiative, teamtrees.org, manages to solve this problem beautifully. Like, here's how easy it is to donate. Like, here's my phone, right? We're going to go to Chrome, we're going to donate 5 trees, we're going to click next. Sure, we'll go with Peter Macari. Some of that's going to be blurred out because, privacy. Again, blurred out because privacy, you're not going to see that or that right there. I've already donated a message, so I don't really need to do more. Yeah, let's keep donation this time anonymous, why not? Complete donation from the United States. Oh, enter a security code, I actually have PayPal, personally, so I'm just going to use PayPal to do it. If you also have Venmo, it's also easy to do, or you could just fill in your credit card information right there. But if you happen to have a PayPal or a Venmo, just log in. This is going on in real time right now. Like, I'm not rehearsed this. This isn't video cuts or anything like that. So you're also having to deal with the fact that my internet is a bit slow. I also use LastPass for my things. Continue. Sending you back to the Arbor Day Foundation. Yes, I did. Thank you, PayPal. I appreciate that. Completing donation. Donation completed. Right there. That hardly took any time at all. And because it's that easy, I would highly encourage you guys to click the link down in the doobly-doo or in the pinned comment to give what you can. Planting 20 million trees or even 20 billion trees isn't going to make climate change go away. It's going to take a lot more effort to really tackle this problem. But the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And how wild would it be if the road that led to real enduring action on climate change came as the result of a Twitter meme? I mean, it's 2019. Weirder things have happened. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, about MrBeast's charity, about its successes, or the other barriers to charitable giving that I didn't mention in this video, because there was a lots of stuff that I could have, but I didn't want to, explode the length of the video, or, thoughts that cropped up while watching this video, or suggestions for future topics. I'm always happy to have those down in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to reading all of them and answering a few in the next office hours. Special thanks to everyone supporting Professor Politics on Patreon. I'd like to give a special shout out to research assistant Joel. Patrons get exclusive content, early content, and shout outs, so if you'd like to be able to help, there's going to be a link down in the doobly-doo as well as at the end card at the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Window was apparently in the last couple of scenes. I'm sorry about that. It's a brand new set. We have to remake my office space into also being, a nursery, so I'm going to be sharing space with my daughter coming up. Brings me into the stuff on the very last video, because the last video I put up obviously was the bonus video announcing that my wife and I are expecting our first child. We're expecting a girl, and her name is Rosalina. Yes, just like the video game character. So before going into comment responses on the last full video, I just wanted to thank you all for your well wishes. I mean, Stephanie and I, we really appreciated it. It was just so lovely to have such positive comments coming in. It was just wonderful. Thank you. Last full video, we talked about President Trump's call with Ukraine's president and how it led to the impeachment inquiry. And let's see what you guys had to say about that. Eric Borgia corrected my wording throughout the video where I was saying the Ukraine as opposed to Ukraine, and the former with a definite article implies that it's part of, as he eloquently said, another region of power rather than an independent nation. And I'm amplifying his correction because it's not just something that I know that I do, but that I've seen a lot of people doing as well. So all of us, including you, future Peter, listen to Eric. Let's work on calling it Ukraine without the. Eric Schmidt asked about my warnings about a future time where the United States is led by an autocrat and wanted me to elaborate a bit on this. And I think that my response to him also ties in with Adam Filinovich's comment where he pushed back on my worry about the Democratic candidate's use of executive orders by correctly pointing out that anything, truly objectionable could just be overridden by the next president. So I guess I'll start out by saying by nature, I'm more inclined to be very risk averse. I tend to overweight negative possibilities, even those I know that are, rare generally. So for sure, my analysis will be colored by, a patina of pessimism. But the reason I'm worried is because we've seen this pattern play out in other nations before, leading to autocratic regimes. We're seeing the erosion of democratic norms. A lot of concerted and deliberate work is going to need to happen if we're going to reverse the trajectory that we're currently on. And I used to be more inclined to agree with Adam Filinovich's comment, but I'm less so now. First, I'm leery of any president expanding their scope through unilateral action. I didn't like it with President Obama's executive actions, and I don't like how President Trump has basically kept the same pace and, obviously having huge qualitative differences while doing so. I don't want to see the president become uniquely emboldened when the people, through Congress, are intended to have supreme authority. And the reversal thing isn't as comforting as it used to be, considering that world leaders are now eyeing the United States as being unreliable. First there was the getting out of the Paris Climate Accords, which is now officially happening, I guess, then all the erratic trade decisions, and now there's our abandonment of the Kurds. So I think from an international relations perspective, we need to start projecting stability, else countries like Russia or China are more than happy to fill the role that the US previously did as the international hegemon. I mean, shoot, they're already jockeying for position to be able to do so. Plus, Congress has tried to rebuke the president's unprecedented grab regarding the border wall. 2 bipartisan bills were passed in the House and the Senate to end the state of emergency at the border, and he vetoed both of them. Boy, this comment section is kind of ending on a depressing note, so I'm just going to end with a picture of my pets, because I mean, look at them. How can you not be happy? So I hope that they bring at least a little bit of joy into the rest of your day. That'll do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I truly appreciate all of them, and I appreciate you guys' patience. October was a wild month with a lot of highs and a lot of lows, so I'm happy to be back into what I hope is a more consistent workflow. So thank you guys for your comments, and just please keep them coming. Sources for everything's always be down in the doobly-doo, as well as links to Facebook, Twitter, and the blog. Look forward to seeing you guys out there as well. If you enjoyed this video, hope you consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by commenting down below, by sharing this video, and by subscribing to the channel to stay in the loop for more awesome social science content as uploaded. If you want to be guaranteed to be in the loop when I upload a new video, be sure to click the bell icon as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.